Alright, what's going on, folks? We are back for a raw lesson today, and I will be speaking on taking a punch in particular. Okay, so I may put how to have an iron chin in the title, just so that I can have more views. But in reality, I'm just telling you guys how to take a punch, and we're gonna dig deep on a lot of these things that a lot of people don't mention. So hopefully, you guys learn something in this video. So let's go on to the first one. The first one is to keep your neck in place. Now you may be wondering, what does that mean? The fuck does that mean, bro? Our neck is right here. How the hell does it move? Our neck is right here. It doesn't move. Okay, here's what I mean. Whenever we move our head, there is a corresponding movement from the neck that comes with us moving our head, which means that when we move our head right here, the neck stretches in order to put our head in that position. Boom. Same thing when we slip outside. Boom. Okay, the neck compensates for that movement by stretching out all the muscles around that area. So if I come here, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so what do I mean by keeping the neck in place? What I mean by that is minimizing the movement as much as you can, in order to keep your chin tucked, and in order to keep your neck braced so that whenever a punch comes your way, you can be prepared for it. So here's how it looks like. Okay? I'm moving my head, but I'm not moving my neck a lot. Now I'm gonna show you the wrong way to do it later on. Just look at it the right way at the moment. Boom. Okay? So you see that I'm combining footwork, I'm combining rotation of the body in order to move my head. I'm not relying on my neck. If I rely on my neck, what's gonna happen is the body will not move as much. I will not need as much footwork. That's why people resort to that option. So look at this. Okay? I don't need to rotate a lot. All I have to do is move my neck left and right. Pop, pop. Ooh. Hey, hey, hey. On the side. Ooh, ooh. Back. 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 Boom, bitch. You get knocked the fuck out. And you're not ready. The neck is at a relaxed position whenever you move it way too much. So that's my first tip for you guys. Definitely keep your neck in place as much as you can. If you pull, don't pull like this. Okay? Don't pull like this. Pull like this. Alright? I'm not moving my neck, I'm just moving my body. If you pull like this, neck is at a relaxed position, you get knocked the fuck out. Here's the next one. The next one is going to be using the glove as resistance, as a resistance point, which means that whenever we use our gloves, we usually use it as a blocking tool, but that's not just it. It can also be used as a resistance tool. So as much as I can use this glove right here in order to block the left hook, believe it or not, I can also use this glove right here as a resistance so that when my opponent throws the right hand, I can be fully protected and my head won't turn all the way out here. My head will not turn all the way out here because this right here is pretty tight. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's very simple. Do not turn the body all the way out. I've said this time and time and time again. Why is that? Because I've never been dropped with a headshot. I've been dropped with a body shot, and what did I do? I did this. Okay? So he set me up, left hook to the head, called me to the body. I went down for the first time in my fucking life. And since that day happened, I told myself that's not gonna happen again, so I started practicing this. Huh? Uh-oh. Body shot, no problem. Double hook, no problem. Triple hook, no problem. I'm gonna stay there. I'm not gonna turn anymore. And the advantage of that is, besides being able to defend shots coming from this side, if my opponent decides to throw a left hook or a right hand here, I can use this as a resistance because I'm leaning on this glove. It's almost like I'm leaning on a pillow to support my head and to support my neck. And so instead of turning all the way out here and then getting caught and then not having any resistance because my elbows are not resting on my body, boom, If it's rested on my body, now, whenever if my opponent throws the right hand, there's no problem anymore. It's not gonna turn like this because it's tight, okay? And I have that support, additional support right here on this side. So besides being able to block punches coming from this side, I am also able to avoid turning the neck whenever my opponent throws a punch on the other side, because I have that tightness on this side and I'm bleeding. I'm using this as a supporting tool. Okay, so that's the second one. Third one, in order to avoid or in order to take a punch and avoid getting knocked out in the process, is really avoid bracing. I repeat, avoid bracing. What the fuck does that mean? We've been told that you should brace in. Those are motherfuckers who never took a punch in their fucking life. When they tell you to brace and keep everything tight, that's how I know they never took a punch in their life. Why is bracing not necessary all the time? Well, look at this. If my opponent throws something, okay, and I tighten it up, I brace. You have to ask yourself, is this really necessary? What difference does it make if I brace? And if I don't? Relax? Nothing. Nothing. You may say, well, it's gonna slip out. Never happened. Yeah? Those motherfuckers who tell you that you should keep it tight so that the opponent will not pass through your guard, those are motherfuckers who never spot a day in their life. There is no need to brace all the time. And the reason why I say this is because it applies a lot of pressure around the head and around the neck area, which causes venous pressure. There are veins covering the neck and the head. I'm not a fucking doctor, but I know this because I read up a lot on brain damage in boxers, and I saw a couple of articles and a couple of stuff about veins around the brain, okay? And what happens is, whenever we tighten up right here, we are applying a lot of unnecessary pressure on our head, which causes the veins to have less supply of oxygen, less supply of blood to transfer over to our heart. And so what happens is we start to experience headaches and stuff like that. And so whenever we get punched, it's not even that the opponent is powerful, it's just the fact that we are experiencing so much dizziness, so much headache, that we just go down, we just go unconscious. Okay, so this act of tightening up all the time, if you do this all the time, you'll notice the next day you'll have headaches. And that's what I've noticed with myself too. You know, whenever I try to cover up, I face a high volume puncher and I cover up like this, I shell up, and then I tighten up everything. What I notice is that the next day I feel headaches right around here. What the fuck is that? I never got hit. He never hit me with a solid shot. He never hurt me, really. But why am I experiencing this headache? And then I started looking it up and I started recalling what I did, and it's like, oh shit, now I remember. I was pressing my gloves very hard and I was squeezing my fucking head to the point where some unnecessary tension occurred around the brain, and then the next day I experienced a headache. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that sometimes the reason why we get knocked out or we get hurt or we can't take a punch is not necessarily because our opponent is strong or powerful. It's just the fact that we are experiencing so much disorder and so much negative stuff is going on around our brain that we just go unconscious and we think we have a glass chin or whatever, when in fact it's our brain that's really creating that problem for us. Our brain is not supplying the right amount of oxygen in order to keep us conscious, and what ends up happening is we get hit and then we just go, we fall asleep. Okay, so if you ever learned anything from this video today, sometimes it's not your opponent's fault. Alright, there are certain habits that we have which causes us to get knocked the fuck out. And there are a couple of ways to take a punch. And there are a couple of ways to improve your chin, but at the end of the day, the best way to avoid getting hurt and to avoid getting knocked out and to not get hurt in the ring is improve your defense. Okay, as much as I'm telling you how to take a punch, these are just some last second options that you can go for. At the end of the day, definitely improve your defense and try as much as you can to not get hit. So that was it. The Boxing Genius TV here, signing off. I'm gaining some weight. I think right now I'm at 142. So if you can see, like, I'm getting ripped and stuff, that's why. But whenever I get that fight again, I'll move down to 115, 120, and we'll see what happens. So that was it. See you guys soon. Peace.